Hey yo, last week a police deputy was gunned down. I should say he was assassinated by a criminal. For whatever the reason that individual shot the police officer, we are yet to find that out. But I am equally disturbed by the attempt by several police departments across the country to blame the Black Lives Matter movement for this killing. And apparently that's the direction they want to go, just like they did with the Black Panther Party, where they tried to criminalize the group and what they're doing. The Black Lives Matter movement started because we, black people, were not getting any assistance from the criminal justice system to punish police officers who violate the constitutional rights of Americans, not only African Americans, Americans period. So far this year, over 1,000 Americans have been murdered by police. Now that doesn't mean that the murder of this deputy in Texas is justified. Any killing of a police officer is as horrible as it is in the line of duty. But this person was executed, which makes it even a little more disturbing. Now, my father was a police officer for 45 years of his life, so I have nothing against police officers. What I do have a problem with is people turning a blind eye, particularly conservatives, turning a blind eye to crimes committed by police officers. The last time I checked, murder is against the law. And police officers are not above that law. We saw Eric Gardner choked to death on national television. They refused to even indict the officer and bring him up on charges and let a jury decide if he was wrong. This is what angers African Americans, that you can kill African Americans in this country and not be held accountable. And there's a problem with that. I am not saying what this gentleman did is right. He was wrong. And they were right to arrest him, and they could put him away and even execute him if they like, if he is found guilty. And that's okay, because he was wrong. But similarly, when a police officer, like the one in South Carolina, who casually, nonchalantly just draws his weapon and pumps 5 bullets into the back of a fleeing suspect, that individual also must do the maximum time and get the maximum penalty for that cold-blooded murder. There's a lot of tragedies to go wrong, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of tragedies. But if the criminal justice system refuses to hold accountable public servants who violate the constitutional rights of Americans, you are going to find many innocent police officers being attacked by civilians. African Americans have been painted into a corner. And this is not something new. This has been going on for 150 years. We simply have video to prove it. And so to tell African Americans or to hold African Americans responsible, or the Black Lives Movement responsible for the death of this police officer, is to say we want to shut you down and shut down any protests of violent police officers. Where are the good police officers in this country? They are all hiding behind the blue wall of silence, which in itself is a criminal act. Because you are sitting idly by when fellow police officers are committing crimes and you're not coming forward. And I understand why. Snitches get stitches. That's a code in the black community. And if you violate the code of policing, or the brotherhood of police, you could find yourself blacklisted, you could find yourself working by yourself, or even fired for squealing on police officers. So where do we go from here, ladies and gentlemen? Are the black community supposed to be silent? Simply endure the violence as our existence? Are we supposed to shut up and pretend that it is not happening? I see on Fox News they went to their resident Uncle Tom, Sheriff Clark, to get him to condemn the Black Lives Movement simply because we are complaining about violent policing in our community? Is he saying that a police officer is above the law? Is the life of a police officer more valuable than a civilian sheriff clerk? Are we to simply turn a blind eye to violence by police officers? I'll be damned if I have to look over my left shoulder for the thugs and the criminals, and I have to look over my right shoulder for the police officer. Where does that leave me as an individual? What am I supposed to do between these two violent entities? Something has to be done, and if the criminal justice system refuses to hold these people accountable when they commit crimes against civilians, you're going to find civilians taking matters into their own hands, and innocent police officers who may be just simply doing their jobs as best they can under the situation are going to find themselves as targets. But now you know what it feels like to be a black man in this country, because we feel targeted by police. And to tell us to shut up and stop complaining is not an option. It has to stop. It is 2015, ladies and gentlemen. It has to stop. Equal rights, justice, and accountability cannot be viewed as anti-police rhetoric. No justice, no peace. And that is Obama's point of view.